Let's make America objective again. We're smack in the middle of what they call the information age, but with all the censorship and clamor, it doesn't always feel like it. People these days seem quick to take offense. Maybe they've always been that way, but it's like everyone's tiptoeing around instead of standing firm. Here's my take: let's make America objective again. And the best part, it doesn't start with some big shot proclamation. It starts with you right where you are. Step one is simple: talk to folks. Better yet, listen, really listen to what they've got to say. There's an old truth in this: you'll win more people over by showing interest in them than by trying to make them interested in you. Ask questions, hear their side, and let them know you're paying attention. Then toss your own thoughts into the ring and see if they'll give you an ear or two. If they do, you're onto something, a real back and forth. If they don't, no harm done. Tip your hat, flash a smile, and say thanks anyway. Why thank them? Because they've just spared you the headache of arguing with a brick wall. No sense wasting breath on someone glued to their own ideas. Move on and find folks who'll meet you halfway. That's your starting line. Listen, share, and sort out who's willing next. Seek out the real ones, people who aren't just spouting lines or playing for applause, but who actually want to dig into ideas and chase the truth. When you find someone genuine, someone who'll speak their mind and still hear you out, that's a keeper. Stick with it, and before long you'll have a crew, an army even of folks ready to talk, ready to listen, and ready to reason together. That's the heart of making America objective again. It's not about shutting anyone down or winning every fight. It's about slicing through the touchy feuds and getting back to where ideas can duke it out in the open, fair and square. People want to feel understood, give them that, and you'd be surprised how many start wanting the truth too. Start small, start with you, and watch it spread. One good talk at a time, we can steer this thing back on course. And making America objective again. And the best part, it doesn't start with some big shot proclamation. It starts with you, right where you are. Step one is simple: talk to folks. Better yet, listen, really listen to what they've got to say. There's an old truth in this: you'll win more people over by showing interest in them than by trying to make them interested in you. Ask questions, hear their side, and let them know you're paying attention. Then toss your own thoughts into the ring and see if they'll give you an ear too. If they do, you're onto something, a real back and forth. If they don't, no harm done. Tip your hat, flash a smile, and say thanks anyway. Why thank them? Because they've just spared you the headache of arguing with a brick wall. No sense wasting breath on someone glued to their own ideas. Move on and find folks who'll meet you halfway. That's your starting line. Listen, share, and sort out who's willing next. Seek out the real ones, people who aren't just spouting lines or playing for applause, but who actually want to dig into ideas and chase the truth. When you find someone genuine, someone who'll speak their mind and still hear you out, that's a keeper. Stick with it, and before long you'll have a crew, an army even of folks ready to talk, ready to listen, and ready to reason together. That's the heart of making America objective again. It's not about shutting anyone down or winning every fight. It's about slicing through the touchy feuds and getting back to where ideas can duke it out in the open, fair and square. People want to feel understood, give them that, and you'd be surprised how many start wanting the truth too. Start small, start with you, and watch it spread. One good talk at a time, we can steer this thing back on course.
Well, here it is, and there you have it. Making America objective again. And it's kind of a lofty ideal. I mean, a true ideal would be making much of the civilized world objective again, and even more objective. Again, we used to have the information superhighway. And then people began to become offended by things being said. And I don't know when the intellectual dark web was first coined, but it started out With that, I believe the intellectual. And why is it considered a dark web? When did it begin? When did it start? Now, the phrase intellectual dark web was coined in early 2018 by a mathematician, Eric Weinstein. He used it to describe affiliation of groups, including figures like Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, and Ben Shapiro, who were engaging in controversial, often contrarian discussions outside mainstream academia and media channels. The term gained traction after May 2018 New York Times opinion piece by Barry Weiss, which profiled the group and their ideas, cementing the phrase. Now, Barry Weiss, I believe, has now become basically against this kind of thinking, because it is a progressive thought that, and progressives were the ones who started to think that wrong think and expressing wrong think on the internet was dangerous. And there are the history of contrarian thinkers, Socrates, Galileo, Voltaire, Thomas Paine, Friedrich Nietzsche, Henry David Thoreau, Sigmund Freud. Freud's psychoanalysis theories emphasized the unconscious and sexuality challenged by Victorian moralism and conveniently conventional psychology. His ideas, though later debated, reshaped views on human behavior. George Orwell's 1984 and Animal Farm criticized totalitarian theory of conformity. And there was also Ayn Rand. Rand's philosophy of objectivism, articulated in Atlas Shrugged and, in The Fountainhead. She championed individualism and laissez-faire capitalism, opposing collectivism and altruism. Yeah, empathy is a two-way street. It's reserved for Ken. It's not necessarily for everyone with a sob story. And empathy is on the web is a one-way street. The intellectual dark web thinkers, there's Jordan Peterson, there's Sam Harris, Brett Weinstein, a biologist who challenged Evergreen State College racial policies, later focusing on evolutionary biology, shifting platforms. And again, I'm beginning to believe that it's primarily about things like conquest and resistance, the balance, and one of the ways to really make not only America but the world objective again is to really have a true information superhighway where it is not filtered under the guise of hate speech or anything like that. Now, the ADL, even Sam Harris, I believe, has been controversial for his critique of Islam. The ADL, while not directly naming Harris in available records, has historically tracked rhetoric it deemed harmful to what they consider to be marginalized groups. And even prominent conservatives like Ben Shapiro. In the ADL, Jordan Peterson, and I believe specific actions against him are noted. As I've said before, I believe we're in a dance of conquest and resistance, which is part of human nature, every beast on earth. And sometimes censorship comes from the places you least expect. When cinema or the movies, when they started to have sound, that's when religious Christian groups became concerned. And first they had the Hayes office. And then they had, because the Catholics in America believed that the Hayes office wasn't doing enough, and they constructed the Legion of Decency. Today, they have, I believe, a whole list of people who are thinking that social media is too dangerous for the masses. They have groups like the ADL, the SPLC, and other groups that think that human beings cannot decipher good or bad information on their own, and they need to be censored. We need to look out for bad speech and bad thought. It is certain religious orthodoxy, the blasphemy of hate speech. And really, hate speech rules are like blasphemy laws. And they don't only attack one group, but they primarily attack one group. They focus on one group. Only one group they claim to have supremacy. So they're considered a collective that has to be watched. And if you even question the narrative, that is also considered a kind of hate speech, I guess. It's really kind of, it is unfair, but again, it is about conquest. And for me, it does upset me, but I have to look at the rules of conquest and how these groups that have decided to control the internet, what they did, how they did it, because you have to, or you should, to best resist your enemy, you have to understand your enemy. You have to understand how he works, or how he or she works, how the group thinks, and at times use it against them. Again, you should always strive to appear weak, be strong, but appear weak. And don't go looking for a fight. But if you choose to fight, you'll find one. And sometimes when you're not looking for one, you'll find one as well. You know, I kind of can remember when our newscasters didn't lecture us the way they do today. And I don't know if that is Trump derangement syndrome, or if that is just the age that they are, part of the Generation X, and maybe even like the later the baby boomer. They become very sanctimonious and arrogant. A lot of times when you win, you often still play the underdog. And you see people who disagree with you as the overlords of the past, and you're there to be stomped out. It's almost like, maybe you're killing Dracula, or you're killing the zombie, and you have to bury him. You have to utterly destroy the person that you're against, and that they can never gain power again. They have to be absolutely destroyed. I guess that's the way it goes. We're seeing a lot of news about this whole Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony situation. And the news, as the news develops, there's a lot of misinformation there. And we're seeing from the left, from both the progressive anti-racist left and the pro-black side, often a lot of hyperbolic and very hypocritical language that I guess people don't seem to see, or a lot of people in charge don't seem to see, but the rest of Americans who are objective and reasonable do see it. And there are uncomfortable realities regarding certain things that I guess people don't want to see about the world. I mean, wealth is created. Poverty is a natural state. Our species evolved in poverty. And people always want to go to the developed world than the developing world. And Europe, Africa goes to Europe to live far more than Europe goes to Africa to live. And again, I think ego plays a big part in a lot of people's reality. Ego is a strong narcotic, and oftentimes people do not take to rehab because, again, their emotional states are based either on victimhood or their nationality or their ideology. And to be objective sometimes means to lose that. And that is very difficult. And usually also the loudest speakers in the room are those who are fanatically impassioned about their views. And objectivity is also rather impossible Anyway, this has been Brian with Transparency and Merit. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'll end you with Stop Crying on Television.
Oh no, the tears are falling. Cue the zoom and cue the lights. Oh, that's bright. One rehearsed apology, time to monetize. Your pain's a brand, your grief's a show. You cry into the camera, throw money. Is this real?
No.
Is this pain?
No.
See, or is this a Netflix deal in the making? Turn the volume up, it's primetime regret. Another life meltdown, place your bets. Stop crying on television and the internet. Watch we see through your tears and your empty through eye. Yeah, every soap story comes with a check, and we ain't buying your pain, not yet. Oh look, the influencer's weeping again. I swear I'm so broken, like, comment, send. Eat your suffering, sell it as proof. A clown with a tissue in a soundproof booth.
These tears are heavily edited. Do you want to skip this trauma? Pay for premium.
Stop crying on television and the internet. What we see through your tutors and your empty third eye. Every soap story comes with a check, and we ain't buying your pain, not yet.
This has been another episode of Manufactured Misery. Tune in next breakdown.